When the school bully cornered me against the wall in a deserted hallway, I frantically texted my online boyfriend for backup. But just as I tapped send, his phone buzzed with a chilling voicemail warning that someone was targeting my sweetie, as if daring me to stand up to Tyler's deadly game. The school bully abruptly shifted his demeanor, initiating a voice call. I watched the screen flash, grateful my phone was muted. Could my kind online boyfriend truly be Tyler? At that moment, anticipation was replaced by dread. Tyler wasn't someone to trifle with. I had been simply walking home when he and his group appeared, blocking my route without explanation, declaring it his territory. I powered down my screen, remaining utterly still, terrified he'd notice. His call went unanswered and he grew agitated, swearing loudly. Was my gentle, soft-spoken boyfriend a deception? One of his friends attempted to calm him. "Boss, I'll ask around, see if anyone's been cornered today." Tyler glared at me. "You're fortunate. Don't walk this way again, understand?" I nodded frantically as he turned, sending another voice message in a hushed tone. "Baby, don't be afraid. I'll be right there." Only after Tyler and his companions vanished did I race home. My phone revealed dozens of messages and missed calls. The first voice message was the one I'd heard earlier. "Baby, don't be afraid. I'll be right there." The next, "Baby, answer the phone or tell me where you are." Then, "Baby, where are you? What happened? Please respond." His tone grew increasingly anxious. I scrolled through last night's chat history, a wave of panic washing over me. If I could rewind time, I'd never have fallen for his voice. Fortunately, a holiday was starting, giving me a few days before school resumed and before I might encounter him again. I needed to end this online relationship, fast. My thoughts were interrupted by my roommate's call. "Amy, Tyler's frantic. He's been flooding every group chat, asking if someone cornered a girl today. He's calling people nonstop. Apparently, his girlfriend was the one cornered." "Girlfriend? Poor soul." "I've got to go," I said quickly. "Wait, since you're not heading home for the holiday, want to hang out tomorrow?" "Sure." After hanging up, I regretted ever starting this, but ignoring him wasn't an option. If I remained silent, he'd keep searching. With trembling fingers, I texted, "Sorry, I accidentally hit the SOS message. I'm fine." He immediately sent a voice reply, which I didn't listen to. I hung up before it played. Then he texted, "Why won't you answer?" "I'm worried," I replied. "My mom's here, not a good time to talk." "Oh, okay. I'm just glad you're all right. You really scared me. To avoid this again, let's exchange numbers." My phone felt hot in my hand. I didn't know what to say, so I just did it. First step to breaking away. Ghost him. I put my phone down and ignored it. The next morning, I met my friend Jessica at the mall. As I was leaving, my mom reminded me, "Come home early. I invited a new friend and her family for dinner." "Got it," I said, heading out. Jessica was waiting and pulled me toward the men's department on the second floor. "Tyler's here," she whispered. "He's awful, but his face is something else." I froze. We saw him near the fitting rooms, clearly miserable. "Dear Mrs. Chen, this is the 8th outfit," he muttered. His mother, I presumed, was adjusting his collar. Then our eyes met. Tyler froze. I grabbed Jessica and ran. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Nothing," I replied. "Let's shop." We stayed out until my mom called me home. Still, I couldn't shake the image of Tyler, silent, obedient, being led around by his mom. When I got home, I noticed a car in the driveway. Must be my mom's new friend. As I walked past it, a voice from inside said softly, "Baby, you haven't responded all night and afternoon. Was I too forward? I'm sorry. Please don't be mad, okay?" Then my phone chimed. Notifications from him. Tyler. Why was he here? Wait, my mom's new friend? No way was that his mother. Is it too late for me to run? I froze on the spot, staring at the car, my breath caught in my throat. Tyler looked up from the driver's seat. Our eyes met again. This time there was no crowd, no hallway, no escape. His eyes widened in recognition, but instead of anger or confusion, his expression softened, heartbreakingly soft. "Baby," he called out, half opening the car door. I did what any rational person would do. I bolted. I dashed through the front door and slammed it shut behind me. "Amy," my mom called from the kitchen. "They're already here. Don't be rude. Come say hello." I forced a smile and walked in, heart still thudding in my chest like a warning drum. My mom stood beside a well-dressed woman with an elegant bob and sharp eyes. Beside her was Tyler in a dress shirt, looking like someone who'd never bullied a soul in his life. "This is my daughter Amy," my mom said proudly. "Amy, this is Mrs. Chen and her son Tyler." "Nice to meet you," Tyler said politely, as if we hadn't locked eyes at school with hatred and confusion between us. "Hi," I mumbled, avoiding his gaze. My mom leaned closer and whispered, "Isn't he handsome? He's going to start tutoring your cousin soon. Such a sweet boy." "Sweet," my brain screamed. "Sweet boys don't block hallways with their fists or rule the school corridors with fear." Dinner was torture. Tyler sat across from me at the table, quietly eating, occasionally glancing my way. My fork shook every time our eyes met. My mom chatted away with Mrs. Chen, unaware that I was silently dying inside. After dessert, Tyler's mom excused herself to take a call. My mom followed her out with some excuse about showing the garden. The moment we were alone, Tyler finally spoke. "You weren't going to tell me, were you?" His voice was low, calm, but carried something sharp beneath. I didn't answer. "I figured it out last night," he said. "When you didn't answer and your last scene time stayed active, I put it together. Your school, your name, Amy." "I was going to end it," I whispered. "I didn't know you were you." "I didn't know you were you either," he said, then smiled bitterly. "Guess we were both pretending." Silence fell again. I couldn't meet his eyes. Finally, he said, "Look, I don't know what I am to you anymore, but I wasn't faking how I felt, and I didn't mean to scare you yesterday. I thought someone else had hurt you. That's why I lost it." I didn't know what to say. Tyler, the bully, was looking at me like a real person. No threats, no mask, just a confused boy who had also gotten caught in the web of a lie. "Can we talk properly?" he asked. "Somewhere private?" No pressure. I opened my mouth to say no, but the words that came out were, "Tomorrow at the cafe across from the school, 10 a.m. He nodded once, like that was all he needed. Just like that, I was stuck in a situation even messier than I ever expected. My online boyfriend was the school bully. My mom wanted to be best friends with his mom, and I had no idea which version of Tyler was real. But I would find out tomorrow. I didn't sleep well that night. My brain wouldn't shut off, replaying every message, every conversation, every moment I'd shared with my online boyfriend. His soothing words, his caring tone, his laugh, all now paired with the face of the guy who once shoved a kid into a locker just for bumping into him. And yet, that same Tyler had looked nervous last night, vulnerable, even sincere. 10:00 came, faster than I expected. I arrived at the cafe 5 minutes early, hoping, maybe foolishly, that Tyler would be late. He wasn't. He was already seated at a booth by the window, sipping black coffee like someone who did this regularly. I hesitated at the door, then, heart pounding, I walked in. He stood up. "Hey," he said softly. "Hi." We sat for a moment, neither of us speaking. The awkwardness was suffocating. Finally, I blurted, "Why me?" Tyler blinked. "What? Why me? Out of all the people online, why did you talk to me?" He leaned back, eyes scanning my face like he was searching for the right words. "Because you were kind, real. You didn't try to impress me. You just talked, and you listened. I needed that." "But you're Tyler. Everyone either fears you or follows. You like a puppy?" He grimaced. "Yeah, that's kind of the problem. At school, it's all about reputation. I didn't want to be weak. I couldn't be. Not with my dad's expectations. Not with the pressure. But online, I could just be me. No name, no history, just words. I didn't want to feel sorry for him. I shouldn't feel sorry for him. But his voice was shaking, and it reminded me too much of the gentle guy I'd messaged at night. "Yesterday, when you thought I was in danger," I asked, "what would you have done?" He looked me dead in the eye. "Anything. I would have found you. I would have made sure you were safe, no matter who I had to go through." The silence stretched between us. I was scared of you, I admitted. I was scared for you, he replied. And somehow, those two confessions sat side by side, like puzzle pieces that almost fit. I took a shaky breath. So, what now? Tyler hesitated. That's up to you. If you want to delete me, block me, walk away, I won't stop you. But if you want to keep talking, I promise to stop hiding. No more secrets, just me. The real me. I looked at him, really looked. Gone was the smirking bully. In front of me sat a boy who didn't know how to fix what he'd broken, but wanted to try. I don't know if I trust you, I said honestly. But I'll think about it. He smiled, small and hopeful. Fair enough. We finished. Our coffee, mostly in silence. The air between us no longer tense but cautious. As I stepped outside, the sun warming my back, one thing was clear. The story between Tyler and me was far from over, and I had no idea if it would end in healing or disaster. I thought I could keep it quiet. I thought I could process everything, figure out what to do with Tyler, and just pretend life was normal for a few days. But life at school is never that simple. The moment I stepped onto campus after the holiday, I knew something was off. Whispers followed me down the hallway. People glanced at me, then at their phones. Some laughed, others looked confused. I checked my reflection in the bathroom mirror. Hair fine, clothes normal, face still me. Nothing looked wrong. But when I walked into first period, it hit me like a slap. Hey, Amy! Someone behind me snickered. Didn't know you were into bad boys. My blood ran cold. At lunch, it got worse. Is it true? My friend Rachel asked, wide-eyed, shoving her phone toward me. You and Tyler? Like Tyler? I blinked at the screen. It was a screenshot of a chat thread on a student gossip group. Tyler's been all soft lately. Someone said he was seen at the mall with a girl. Could it be the same one who ran into him at the clothing store with his mom? No way. Amy? That quiet girl? Bet she's the one who tamed the beast lol. Check this out. Someone saw them at a cafe too, together, alone. I wanted to melt into the floor. Rachel looked torn between horror and curiosity. Are you really dating him? No, I said instantly, maybe too fast. It's complicated. She leaned closer. Is he threatening you? No. Then why are you shaking? Because I didn't know what to say. Because I didn't even understand what this was. And now the entire school thought we were some weird enemies to lovers drama couple. I barely made it through the rest of the day. By the time the final bell rang, I was exhausted. I just wanted to go home, bury myself in my blankets, and pretend none of this was happening. But of course that wasn't an option either, because waiting for me by the school gate was Tyler. He looked nervous, hands shoved deep into his pockets, ignoring the eyes on him. When he saw me, he gave a small nod. I told you not to make things worse, I hissed. I didn't say anything, he replied calmly. They saw us. That's all it takes. I never asked for this attention. Neither did I, he said, but maybe it's a good thing. I stared at him like he'd lost his mind. How? Because now I can't pretend to be someone else, he said. Neither can you. I didn't know whether to scream or cry. Instead, I walked past him, but I heard him call softly behind me. I meant what I said, Amy. I'll prove it to you. I'm not who you think I am. I didn't look back. I couldn't. Not yet. But a part of me wondered, what if he really meant it? And what if I wasn't ready to find out? I avoided him for 2 whole days. I took longer routes to class, ate lunch in the library, and barely checked my phone. It wasn't just about Tyler. It was the looks, the whispers, the constant buzz around something I hadn't even agreed to. It was like the whole school had decided to ship us while I was still trying to figure out if I was safe around him. But the universe, or maybe Tyler, himself, didn't want to make it easy. On Thursday morning, I opened my locker and nearly dropped my books. Taped to the back wall was a small, folded note. My heart raced. I looked around. No one was watching. I peeled it off and unfolded it. I know I don't deserve a chance, but I want one anyway. Please meet me behind the gym after last period. No pressure. If you don't come, I'll understand. T. I should have thrown it away. I should have laughed and told myself he was just trying to manipulate me again. But instead, I tucked it into my pocket like it meant something. All day I felt it burning through my jeans. When the last bell rang, I stood frozen by my locker, note in hand. My mind spun in circles. What did he want now? An apology? Another chance to talk? A dramatic confession? Against every ounce of judgment in my body, I went. The back of the gym was quiet, shadowed by trees and the fading afternoon sun. I almost turned around until I saw him. Tyler was sitting on the concrete ledge, head down, tossing a pebble between his hands like a kid who didn't know what to do, with his nerves. When he heard my footsteps, he stood. "You came," he said, sounding almost surprised. "Only to tell you this has to stop." He nodded. "Okay, but let me say one thing first." I crossed my arms. "One." Tyler took a deep breath. "I don't want to be that guy anymore, Amy. The one who scares people. I didn't even realize how much I was becoming someone I didn't like until I started talking to you." I stayed quiet. "I know I screwed up, but I meant every word I ever said to you online. That wasn't an act. That was the only real version of me I've ever let out." I shifted uncomfortably. "You can't just flip a switch and expect people to forget everything." "I don't expect that," he said quickly. "But I can try to be better, starting now." There was a long silence. The wind rustled the trees above us. My heart ached with confusion. "Why me, though?" I asked softly. "Why not someone else?" He looked at me, truly looked at me. "Because you saw the version of me I want to be, and you didn't run until you realized who I was." That hit deeper than I expected. I should have walked away, but instead, I stayed. And for the first time, Tyler didn't reach out to grab me or convince me or talk over me. He just stood there, waiting. Maybe this was all a mistake. Maybe he'd never change. But I whispered anyway. "One chance. That's all." And the way his eyes lit up, like hope itself, scared me more than anything he'd ever done before. Because part of me wanted him to succeed, and that part was growing. After that day behind the gym, things didn't magically change, but something shifted. Tyler kept his distance at school. He didn't try to sit with me, didn't act possessive, didn't corner anyone in the hallways. Instead, he did something that confused everyone more than his usual temper ever did. He started acting quiet, respectful, almost invisible. And people noticed. "Did Tyler get hit on the head or something?" Rachel whispered in homeroom. "He actually said excuse me when he passed me in the hall." Rumors began morphing. Whispers of him being dangerous turned into awkward jokes about his crush mellowing him out. It didn't help that I was still avoiding eye contact and refusing to confirm or deny anything. That only made it worse. "He's obsessed with you," Jessica muttered one day. "You're like his weakness." But it didn't feel like obsession, not anymore. Every night Tyler still sent one message. "Hope your day went okay. Sleep well." Just that. Nothing more. He never pressured me, never demanded replies, and that's what scared me most. How easy it was to start looking forward to them. One week later, I found myself walking home when it started to rain, suddenly, brutally. I ducked into the nearest covered bus stop, already soaked. I sighed and pulled out my phone to text my mom. Before I could finish typing, a voice spoke beside me. "You're going to catch a cold like that." I nearly jumped. Tyler was standing there holding an umbrella. He didn't look smug or charming, just worried. He slowly extended the umbrella toward me, not stepping closer. "I wasn't following you. I was heading home too, saw you run in here." I hesitated, then took it. "Thanks," I muttered, not meeting his eyes. He nodded. "Do you want me to walk you back? I'll keep my distance. I just don't want you walking in this alone." I should have said no, but something in me whispered, "He means it." "Okay," I said quietly. We walked in silence most of the way. Rain tapped against the umbrella like a ticking clock. Then, halfway down my street, I asked the question that had haunted me for days. "Why were you like that before? At school, I mean. Why act so cruel?" Tyler looked ahead for a moment, then said, Because fear is easier than connection. When you're feared, no one tries to get close. No one can hurt you. Is that what you think I would have done? Hurt you? He glanced at me. You could. Because you actually know me now. I stopped walking. He did too. The umbrella tilted slightly as he turned to face me. I'm scared of that, he admitted. Of being known. But with you, it also feels like maybe, for once, it's worth it. I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because deep down, I was scared too. But instead of walking away, I stepped forward, just enough so that we both fit under the umbrella together. And Tyler smiled softly, like someone who knew not to push his luck. Neither of us said anything else. We just kept walking, side by side in the rain. Maybe for now, that was enough. By Monday, the school atmosphere had completely shifted. People still stared, but they weren't whispering as much anymore. Some even gave me looks that bordered on curiosity, as if I had some sort of control over the new version of Tyler. The polite, quiet, still intimidating, but not violent Tyler. But peace doesn't last long in high school. That afternoon, it shattered. It happened during third period. In the middle of class, the door burst open without warning, and one of the assistant principals stepped in. His face was grim. Amy Chen, come with me, please. Every pair of eyes turned toward me. My stomach dropped as I followed him down the hall. My heart raced. Had something happened to my mom? Was Tyler in trouble? When we reached the office, I froze. Inside, sitting across from the principal, was Jason Myers, a boy from 2 grades below me. Skinny, quiet, barely spoke. He was also the kid Tyler had once shoved into a locker hard enough to bruise his ribs. Jason's face was pale, and he flinched when he saw me. I didn't understand. What's going on? The principal folded her hands. Jason reported something this morning. He claims you and Tyler have been threatening him. What? My voice cracked. Jason looked down. Not her, him. But she's always around, and he used her name once when he told me to back off. I blinked. What are you talking about? Jason's eyes flicked up. Tyler told me to stop messaging you, that you were his now, and that if I didn't stop, he'd make sure I wouldn't be able to walk right for a week. I staggered back. That's not true. I didn't even know you messaged me. Jason looked hurt. I sent you a DM. You never answered, but he did. My head was spinning. I turned to the principal. I didn't even know this happened. He will be brought in shortly, she said firmly. We'll get his side too. But Amy, if he used your name to intimidate someone, even indirectly, that's serious. I left the office feeling cold, numb. Tyler had promised he was changing, promised he wouldn't be that guy anymore. And yet here we were. I didn't see him the rest of the day. He wasn't waiting by the gate when school ended. But that night, I got a message. I didn't mean to scare him. I just didn't like the way he talked. About you, I lost control. I'm sorry. I stared at the screen for a long time before typing. You told me you'd stop hiding, that you'd stop using fear to protect yourself. Was that a lie? A pause, then, no, but I didn't realize how hard it would be. And then, please don't give up on me. I didn't reply, because for the first time I wasn't sure if I could forgive him. Not if he couldn't forgive himself first. I didn't talk to Tyler the next day. Or the one after that. He didn't text either. The silence between us felt like a storm cloud, heavy, waiting to break. Part of me hoped he would reach out again, explain more, try harder. Another part of me feared what he might say. That maybe deep down, he hadn't changed. Maybe I'd only seen the version of him I wanted to believe in. By Thursday, rumors were swirling again. Some kids said Tyler had been suspended. Others claimed he was transferring schools. Someone even said he'd gotten into a fight with a teacher. None of it felt real until I saw his locker. It had been emptied. No name tag, no books, just a faint outline where his things used to be. I stood there, frozen, my stomach hollow. You okay? Jessica's voice came from behind me, gentle. I shook my head slowly. Did he leave? She bit her lip. Rachel said she saw his mom on campus yesterday. It sounded serious. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My fingers trembled as I touched the empty locker door, like maybe it would open and he'd be there, smirking, sarcastic, real. Instead, my phone buzzed. One new message from Tyler. I'm leaving for a while. My mom thinks it's for the best. Maybe she's right. I'm sorry I ruined things. Not just with you, with everything. You believed in me when no one else did, even when I didn't deserve it. That meant more than you'll ever know. Don't wait for me. But if one day I prove I've truly changed and you still remember me, I hope we can start over as strangers who get it right. I didn't even realize I was crying until a tear landed on the screen. I clutched my phone like it was the last thread connecting us. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes, big ones. And maybe we were doomed from the start. But he tried, and I saw who he could be. Sometimes that's more than most people ever give. Sometimes it's not enough. I sat alone that lunch, not because I had to, but because I needed to grieve something that never had a name. Something soft, secret, and strange. A boy who was a monster to many, but a mystery to me. And maybe, just maybe, something more. But that chapter was closed now. Or so I thought. 2 months passed. Life moved on, like it always does. The rumors about Tyler faded, replaced by new gossip, new scandals. The school returned to its normal rhythm, and so did I. Almost. I stopped. Waiting for his messages, stopped checking his social media. I focused on classes, on friends, on anything that wasn't the ghost of a boy I'd never fully understood. But no matter how much time passed, I never deleted that last message. One day in late spring, I found myself at the same cafe where we'd first talked. I hadn't planned to go. My feet just brought me there. I sat by the window, coffee in hand, watching the same world go by like nothing had changed. Then the door chimed. I looked up, and the air left my lungs. Tyler stood in the entrance, taller, leaner, but unmistakably him. His hair was shorter, his clothes more put together, but it was the look in his eyes that stunned me. Calm, steady, unarmed. For a moment, we just stared. Then he walked over. Hi, he said, voice soft. Hi. He didn't sit until I nodded. Then he lowered himself into the seat across from me, and for a second, it felt like no time had passed at all. I didn't think I'd ever see you again, I admitted. I didn't think I deserved to, he said. But I worked on myself. Therapy, community service. My mom made sure of it. I blinked. Community service? He smiled faintly. I volunteered at a youth center, taught coding to middle school kids. I wasn't allowed near them without supervision at first, but I kept showing up. I didn't know what to say. I'm not asking for anything, he said quickly. I just wanted to thank you for being the first person who didn't look at me like I was broken beyond repair. His hands were clasped tightly on the table. I could see the nervousness behind his calm face. It was real, unpolished. And it struck me like lightning that this was the version of him I always believed existed. I didn't think you'd come back, I said quietly. I didn't think I could. But I promised I'd prove it to you. And I meant that. A long silence passed. The cafe buzzed around us like white noise. Finally, I said, You know what I hated most? He looked up, guilt shadowing his expression. What? That you made me question whether the person I cared about was ever real. Tyler didn't flinch. He was, but he was buried under a lot of fear. I nodded slowly. I believe you now. His eyes softened. Does that mean? It means, I interrupted, we can start over. But not as strangers. A slow smile curved on his face. Cautious, honest. Then let's not get it wrong this time. We clinked coffee cups. Not as lovers, not as enemies. Just two people with a story between them and maybe, finally, a future ahead. And this time, no masks.